Hello everyone, it's me, it's PrimeTime Moff, and I am joined for a very special video by the wonderful PrimeTime Andy, often known as Andy from Transformers the Show. But at this point, after TFN Mini Manchester, he is absolutely PrimeTime Andy. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's a pleasure to be here, Moff. Pleasure.
And we were joking as we started. It's like, hey, I've not seen you for a few days.
It's been too long. Big withdrawal symptoms.
So I thought we'd just do a wee quick video just to kind of talk through what Minicon Manchester was like for both of us. It's a very different experience doing it working behind a stall than it is going as a attendee. There's positives to that and there's negatives to it as well. I thought it would kind of worthwhile having a wee bit of a catch up. So I just kind of suggested I'll go first, kind of explain what leads up to Minicon Manchester or any of the TFNs, I suppose. So it starts with me thinking, do I have enough toys to sell? So the answer should always be yes, but I often like to think of it like what do I take to Minicon is going to be different to what I sell online, to what is different that I take at the big event. So there is a bit of strategy involved. And actually, if I'm honest, the prep for this began last October when I bought a pile of Legends for Reading with the knowledge that I would be taking them to Minicon Manchester as well. I think for the Minicon, I don't know how you feel, Andy, but I think people, they don't go with the same budget. So they're kind of, if your budget's less, you're still wanting the same bot quantity, but you don't want to spend as much. So having some cheaper options on the table kind of helps. So that was the kind of start of it. There is always a bit of planning of going through my massive database of stock for context, and if you look at the website, you look at the eBay, you'll maybe not believe it, but we have 790 different items that we could pick from to bring, which is frightening, and is one of the things I really need to
I believe it. After seeing what I saw at the Minicon, I believe you.
I mean, it's a lot of that stuff is just one-offs and getting a start of different bits that should be listed or should do something with, but I haven't get around to yet. So there's a lot of prep and kind of thinking of what am I taking, what's the space like. This year was the best for prep that I've had because I bought big storage tubs, which are miles better than the kind of cardboard box I've used before. Hired a van, so that meant it was easier. But all that became so important because TFN had improved my increase of stall size, so it meant I had to take more. And you'll know what I'm talking about. But we were like kind of the headline trader. I was gonna say guest,
Yeah.
guest headline trader for the hall we were in. So there's just two halls, which was a whole new challenge. So you were at the first Minicon Manchester, weren't you?
Yeah. I've been to all of them so far.
We're just two in Manchester, two in every hotel, it feels like. Yeah, so three different halls, and they've obviously grown in size in each one. But and you've now been working behind the stall for a year now, so you kind of see the evolution. You learn from everyone you do as well in terms of what you need to do different, what you bring in stock wise, but the organisation, the bits to make it easy. So post Reading, I was like, hire a van, getting storage tubs, getting a trolley, making my life easier. And on the whole, that absolutely happened. The van was so much easier. Like I had all the boxes prepped beforehand, so they were all pretty much prepped last weekend. A few last minute arrivals on Thursday involved some squeezing extra toys into the tubs, but that's always good fun. And it was only like, it took me like 10-15 minutes to actually load the tubs into the van. I was like, this is amazing. They all fit absolutely perfect. Like there was so much joy in just these storage tubs just fitting in perfect. And then it was heading down. Challenge of the hotel, I think everybody felt it was, there was what, like 7 spaces on the road outside the hotel.
Yeah.
So and I know that's a case for all of us. Like I think you'll probably be the same. Stop, drop off, then go and park the car. When it's a big, huge van, it's a longer van than a car, takes up more than a space. It was like, oh, am I getting in? So I had parked up illegally until there was a space available. But I managed to get the stuff up into the hotel, checked in fairly easy. You know, it's the best Minicon or best convention for me in terms of distance. You know, Reading was literally a 2-day trip, and then something like a 7.5 hour drive home on a Sunday. This was an easy wee 3 hours, less than 3 hours, it kind of said when we left the house, so a much easier one. And then Friday just being in amongst everybody and waiting for. I was desperate for you to arrive. I says, but lovey-dovey. But I think we were just desperate to hug over the Newcastle result the week before.
Yeah.
You know, I was there was a bit of banter. You know, a bit of cheek to some of the other football fans who. I mean, the clubs haven't even won a trophy this year. Like, what are
Yeah,
they?
that's it. We won the Carabao Cup. Maybe it is just the Carabao Cup, but there's only three trophies in this country you can win.
Yeah.
We won one of them. You've won
Yeah.
none, lads.
No one else has won anything this
Exactly.
whole
Nobody's won anything
year.
yet.
And I think, you know, I said this to Paul. Paul bit a wee bit, and I was like I've never seen us win anything, like
Yeah.
never. So give us a little bit of time. Just let us enjoy it for a short period of time.
That
at
actually
least.
became a bit of a running joke because I can't remember if it was I said it or somebody else said it first. It was kind of you quantified everything with, but then we've won the Carabao Cup, so you know every time we'd say something, you know, anything negative. Oh well, but you know you've won the Carabao Cup, so yeah, that was good fun. The Friday was really good fun.
It was. It was.
I did deliberately turn up in a Newcastle shirt just to wind people
Yes.
up. I mean that was
Which is good to hear.
lovely.
But no, Friday was. I always enjoy the Minicon. Always feels a bit more relaxed than the Friday. Like the big one, I think everybody gets so excited in the Friday night. Like there's such an atmosphere. There's not that many people who stay really over the course of the weekend. I think there was more people. It felt like on the Saturday night. The Friday night, it felt a little bit more subdued. But that was a good aspect. I kind of able to just catch up with friends and kind of touch base with people. I took a pilot tablet for the table. I know Jamie always likes a bit of tablet, so I made sure I kept him happy. But no, it was really good. So tell us what you felt, what you enjoyed about your Friday night.
Well, I enjoyed getting there because we unfortunately couldn't get there as early as you guys could, what with work and things. So we didn't probably arrive till sometime between 7, half 7, I think it was. And then it was just getting into the bar and getting a chance to see everybody and say hello. And I mean, you'll know this now from the many conventions you've been to. It just becomes a massive kind of loving, just because you know we're all in contact with each other a lot, but to actually physically be there with each other and kind of be able to sit down and have a drink and have a chat about bots and have a laugh, it's just really, really good. And then probably the other highlights of the Friday night. Well, one of them definitely was getting to spend some time with Jack Lawrence, who kind of came over and joined us for quite a while, having a drink and a chat. And even one or two people who came up to say hello who kind of maybe knew us from kind of YouTube or whatever, or even from PrimeTime Toys, and then just came to say hello and kind of just getting a chance to chat to those people as well. That happened more, I think, on the Saturday and particularly the Saturday night. But it was nice on the Friday. But yeah, Jack Lawrence, what an absolute gentleman he is, and just great fun.
I was sad I missed that. I crashed out. I was very tired.
I know you guys had to go to bed, which is
I also
fair.
just
I
sleep.
should have.
I don't ever really sleep well at these things. So the earlier I can go, the knowing I'm going up early anyway, the kind of better. But if I'd known Jack was going to be popping over, I'd have kind of stayed down for a wee bit. But
Yeah, it's a shame because, like, I mean, we had Paul from the show who was exhausted as well from his
yeah,
working week, so he went to bed, you know, early, very early for him.
yeah, he went just after me, didn't he? It was
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He said to me, "I think I'm going to bed." I was like, "Yes, I'm going to." Then I don't want to be the first one, and then I still was the first one because I was just like, as soon as, I'm one of these ones that as soon as I say I'm going to my bed, I just go. Like it's funny. You know, I've told you this before. Like Greg and I have got so many similarities. It turns out that's one for both of us. At the first TFUKCon, like literally, I was finished a drink, went, I'm going to my bed, and I just went. Like I never even like. Well, that's not true. I went to go and say cheerio, and I was like, "Where's Greg?" And he, like 10 minutes before I'd done the same thing, just went, "I'm done. I'm going to my bed." And it's just because it is that. But see, if you don't do that, you could end up. I remember last year at TFN. It took me an hour and a half to actually get to my bed from saying, I think I'm going to my bed, I'm going for another night, and then it's just like, just one more. Aye, okay then. So it's the almost you kind of have to make that call to go.
Yeah, it's easily done because I mean, you just bump into people as you're trying to make your way up, and every now and again they'll be, "Oh, I'm getting a drink. I want more with me." And you're like, "Oh," you know, and yeah, I totally get it. I should have got to bed a bit earlier that night, but I'm going to blame the wife for that because she got to enjoy the weekend as well with her friends from our kind of our social group. So, yeah, it was later than I thought. I thought we were in bed by 12:30, but I've been told by the wife it was 1:15 was the last time she checked her phone before we went to bed. So a little bit later than I'd intended, but there you go.
That was me in the Saturday. I stayed up quite late Saturday. I think Kerry joked her favourite bit on the Friday was when she got down there, she grabbed me and went, "Shall I go to Primark?" And the two of them bunked off to Primark. Like, you're here. I was like, Kerry, you're here for Transformers. Come on. So yeah, then we get into the hall, and the setup in our hall was we had us, Rohan's corner, the fella that I have seen at one of the conventions, and I never know what his stall name is because he doesn't have any flags on his table.
The guy with the G1s.
Yeah. He's always got a decent selection. I don't know. He was beside us in the first Manchester.
Oh, John.
No, you're thinking John. No, John's T3.
He was the other side, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and then we had Blockies. I think we all like Blockies, so it's okay.
Everybody loves Blockies, except the people who don't.
The first thing I did, I went over to Dan and went, hey, you've not shipped me anything for ages. I've not had any new stock. And more importantly, I've not had my new toys yet.
Yeah, I'll just take some of these.
Sorry about the end of the day. And then we had looking beside us, and then we had the artists in with us as well, which was nice as well. James Roberts.
James Roberts, of course, was in there as well. So, it was a nice size room, I thought. I mean, it reminded me of the previous year's Manchester Minicon. It felt like that size of a room, but just without that little area for the obviously for the panels and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think the one do you not think that the one thing they've got better at the very first year, it felt dead crammed between the tables. There wasn't a lot of space to move around. Last year was much better, and then this year, because they've also split it over two rooms, it makes it even better.
Definitely.
So talk about the layout. Tell the listeners what the layout was then for the halls, because I never even got to the panel room, so I don't know if you managed to
the panel room. I never got to go into, because by the time we'd finished at the end of the day, that had all finished by then. The other hall was set out similar to ours. I think it was slightly smaller, but that hall had Toy Fu in there at the far end, who obviously were kind of like the big draw from that particular hall. A few of the sellers that you see regularly at these events, as I say, John was there. Is it Nick?
Nick Snowden.
Yeah, that's it. Nick Snowden. Yeah, he was there. He's a lovely fella as well. And also the merch desk for TFN was there. So with Grace in there, and again, artist Jack Lawrence was in there.
The Forge was in there as well.
Yeah, the Forge area in the middle. I mean, it was nice, like you say, because it's split over the two rooms. It's just a bit more room. You don't have that mass crush quite the same way. Although I will say, I may be jumping the gun slightly here, but that start of the morning, obviously I can only talk about our experience at PrimeTime Toys, but that was pretty, I don't want to say manic. It was just, I probably was expecting it to be a little calmer, and it was suddenly like 2-3 people around.
I was the same. Kerry asked me the question. So the wife was obviously working on the stall, and she's like, "Is this what it's always like?" And I was like, August, it was like, you remember that first hour of August was unreal. Like that early access was frightening, and then general admission, unreal. But at Minicon Manchester last year, it didn't feel that mental, and all I kept thinking was, well, that's the same people are going to be split over two halls, so it'll probably feel less. But it felt more than last year's. And it was just,
I think maybe that's because, without blowing our own trumpet, but kind of the leading third-party seller, certainly that was there at this event. And there's a lot of love within the fandom for a lot of third-party toys and companies. And like you said, you bring a smaller budget. The Legends bots seem to be flying out. Not everybody bought one, but there was a lot of people getting a Legends bot, maybe alongside the Master style ones or whatever. So it was busy, but good busy. It's kind of how you want it to be. And that interaction.
Yeah, it's good fun. And like, you obviously know for the stall, like I try to have a bit of, I always try now have a bit of official stuff because I think people want that. I brought a handful of the missing link cliff jumpers and bumblebees,
Yes.
and they just flew. They just were
Yeah.
gone, like gone within like 30, 40 minutes. It was just quite crazy. The bigger ticket items always kind of struggle at the mini cons, but I think it's always good to have them because equally, if you go and you want that and it's not there, then you're kind of a bit disappointed. So I always try and kind of keep that. But and then I added in a selection of the stationery items, which there's always a learn. Like I'm very happy with how the day went in terms of every aspect of it. But there's always a learn, and it was Sam maybe 2 hours before went, should I set these up as if it was a mini desk so I have to see what it looked like? And I thought that's genius. Like actually, but to see the mat, the desk mat looks like in a box, just looks like a box, but you roll
Yeah.
it out, looks good. And I sold two based on that, the notepad, everything. So that was my lesson for August. I'll certainly say I kind of set up like that, where it's kind of something slightly different. And then I purposely brought a selection of non-transformers because I think we've all got that. The phrase I heard when I was at Toy Fair was nostalgia brands, and there's a lot of nostalgia brands in the start. Like I'm sitting in front of my turtles and my mask, and
Gonna say.
I am Mr. Nostalgia. I love my 80s stuff, but there's so much love for so many different ranges now. So I think it's good to have a bit of something different because you go expecting Transformers. Do you go expecting a Toxic Crusader or Touchwood, maybe even a bit of mask at TFN? I don't think it's going to be out in time, but imagine like rhinos and things like that. It would be slightly different. So I think there's a joy in that. I kind of having something different. But it was
People
was it?
request people
Yeah,
request to have, is there any, you see it with people, especially first time people, say, do they sell anything other than Transformers as
yeah,
well?
yeah, yeah,
Bits and pieces.
yeah,
So I think it is good to take something so people have that choice. Somebody might spot the Brave Star figure and just think,
yeah,
oh, that's cool, I remember that, and then just impulse pick it up there and then. And I think the
yeah.
big ticket items, you mentioned about the big ticket items, you know, I don't know whether you consider it a big ticket item, but the Fans Toys Ultra Magnus, that
Yes,
seemed fairly popular. I mean, I
yeah,
seem to remember a few people coming up and
yeah.
picking up those. Uh,
I brought six down with me, and only two came back. And
yeah,
you know that might not sound like a lot for the context of what I sell normally on Fans Toys, but I promise you, like at Reading, I didn't sell a single Fans Toys piece. No, I did. I sold one. I'm sure at Manchester last year I only sold the small mini bots. Generally,
mm,
the bigger ones don't go. I kind of knew Mar was going to be that kind of ticket item because it's a bit special. I had hoped I'd have rights in time, but they've
yeah,
only just arrived today. And I've said to you before this, like I've had more rights arrive than I normally would have my batch one, and then like a good chunk of them is gone. So I would have liked to have them, but there's all it's there's always something that arrives that you don't expect, and there's always something you wish could arrive that you didn't that didn't.
yeah,
And the funny bit was this year the bot that I didn't expect to arrive, didn't even know it was on the way to me, and arrived on the Thursday, was the same one that I had the exact same feeling with my very first big TFN, and that was the Mod Fans roller,
yeah.
um, which was, I think, in my opinion, was one of the hot toys that first big TFN August. Like, a masterpiece bought for 35 quid, and it is really an impressive one. So this was the reissue of the two that we had back then, and then the black one as well. So they
Yeah.
sold really well. I think the blues all sold, and
Yeah, the
then
Blues went. I think there was, well, a couple of the
couple of acts and couple of silver left. So yeah, no, it was good. I think we managed to have a good range. The setup was good. It was funny. I was talking to Greg and saying like him and I. Our favourite part of Big August was watching you can experience it for the first time, and you're now an experience behind the stall now. It's like third
veteran.
time, and yeah. So I was able to give the wife a chance to experience that, and I was like, you can just especially, no, this is great fun. Like, and I was like, it's really, you can't. There is a bit you lose when you're working behind the stall. Like you don't get to do the wandering yourself round, and we'll talk about the small bits of walking we did get to do. But there is an absolute joy of, and you definitely felt it in August. I know this, but you're able, when you see somebody desperate for something, you're able to provide that for them. There's such a joy in it that it's like, it, I don't think I get the same joy anymore from buying stuff myself. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And you get those people who maybe struggle a bit with their own social interactions or might have come on their own or whatever. And,
yeah,
you're like with the first point of contact to actually have a chat about whatever it is, and they'll tell you why they wanted it and why they think it's so good. And you can have a bit of a joke around with them. And it's nice to have that interaction
yeah.
with them. I think that's a really nice part of the job. I bet it's not the same in all retail, but it is
No,
in tea.
no, no, yeah. It's not
Such
even
a
the same in the other however many days. What we got? 5 days, 4 days of TFN and one TFUKCon. So there are 360 days. There's a lot of people who are a pain in the neck. Sorry, they're all wonderful.
no, all valued customers though. No, but it was
Um,
I enjoyed that part of it, and like you say, it was nice to see Kerry kind of doing it for the first time as that kind of seller thing, and she seemed to be
yeah.
enjoying herself as well. She kept chucking me money because she didn't have one of the bomb bags, so stuffing
Which
cash
there
in
was
them.
another bum bag behind the stall. She could have just took one, but I kept. And now I say, I go, why didn't I just keep anyway? I've done. So that was good. Russ got a wee chance to can experience that later on in the day as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Um, the joy of Russ being behind the stall was we got a sneaky peek at some of the new bots coming.
Yes, I
So
was
we
going to
had,
say, I was going to
yeah,
say 'cause Russell turned up, didn't he? And
yeah.
Hasbro allowed him to bring some of the at that point unreleased Age of the Primes
Yeah.
Transformers figures. So
And some of them are still like. So what did they have? Skybite,
Skybite,
Heatwave,
yeah,
you've Red
Prime,
Alert, and who?
Primer.
Oh, Prime.
So
That's what it was.
the
That's what it
first
was.
of the primes, as he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was quite entertaining because I'm sure I said this to you. I'm not sure if you had the same experience because you tended to be kind of slightly further on the
Yeah.
stuff. So Russ had them. He asked us to keep his stuff, and it was in a box under the tables behind us on the stall. And the more eagle-eyed of the people attending the convention, they were spotting it as they were for their other purchases. And are those for sale? Can I get one? How much are
I
they?
heard, I heard them
Oh,
asking you, and
yeah.
I was
The amount of
like,
times I got asked that.
yeah. Oh. But it was good because he then obviously was able to bring them out, put them up behind. We all got a wee kind of shot of them. Certainly out of the four, Skybite was the one that impressed me the most. I mean, it's the one that I wanted the most, so that doesn't really surprise me. The Thrilling 30 Skybite was such a good figure. I was a bit of me was like, do we need another? Like, I've got a special love for that toy as well because I've got a signed copy from the wonderful Peter Spellos, and he was such a genuinely warm and wonderful fella. Like, he would private message me on my birthday to wish me a happy birthday, not just an on Facebook one. He would send a wee message, and always it was just a wee bit of it. Like, it wasn't just a happy birthday; it was a bit elaborated. So, I have a special love for that figure. So there was a bit of me was like, oh, I don't know, and then I held it and I was like, oh no, this is really nice. This is
Yeah.
impressive.
The
Um,
engineering on all of them, they just felt
yeah,
like
yeah,
no loose parts. Everything
no,
felt
no,
good. And even Heatwave, which is kind of really
yeah,
outside my wheelhouse, being like a
same,
rescue thing, but that bulkhead mold, it
yeah,
just suited it.
yeah.
Uh,
It really did. The head on it was just cracking. It. I was
yeah,
really impressed with that. And then Red Alert, a figure that I had no interest in. I'm now suddenly, like, yep, I'm going to get one of them because it was
yeah,
really
yeah.
nice.
I
So
that was the one arguably of the four I was most excited to kind of get in hand and just have a fiddle around with. But
yeah,
yeah, it was amazing as well that I know Russell was doing it and he was fine with us kind of letting people have an actual hold of them. But I was just waiting for somebody to start transforming it or whatever, and everybody just held them like they were holding some incredibly valuable artifact, and it was great. Yeah, it was just really nice to see that. It was like a little extra bonus on top of
yeah.
everything else that
It
we
was.
did during the
It
day.
really was. It really was. So, um, during the day, we both managed to get a bit of a walk away, a bit of time away. Did you pick anything up?
I didn't. Now, I went for my first kind of break when it was lunchtime, and the wife ordered some food, and then we were told you've got to wait 45 minutes before the food arrives. So I stayed with her for about 10 minutes because obviously I didn't want to abandon her straight away. And then I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go back to the store, just like message me when the food arrives. But on my way, I'm just going to look in the other hall because I had not even walked in there.
Yeah.
And then I walked into the other hall and just kept bumping into people, saying hello and wanting to chat to me. It's like, I'm in a bit of a... But you don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
So actually, I ended up basically saying, right, I need to get back. I need to get back to the stall to Moff and make sure in case anybody needs a break. So didn't really have a chance to properly look for anything then. And my second time to have a look was much later in the afternoon. And like one of the main places I always love to go is TFU, and they had just been picked clean. It was amazing. I mean, they were, even the lads behind who were working behind the tables were joking about the fact that, you know, they've not even brought more stock. They thought they brought plenty of stock and just absolutely picked clean. So there was nothing really there that I kind of really wanted to get. And it was looking like I was going to have a whole day of being at a con and not actually pick up anything. Oh, I should mention, sorry, that just completely reminds me, the Friday night. Ben Jargo 15 from Instagram, he was in attendance over the course of the weekend, and bless him, he brought me I've got it here, he brought me a Blocky's classic class,
such a nice figure.
Yeah, really nice. So he's all built up. So thank you very much, Ben, for that. It was really kind of you. You didn't have to do that. But it was really nice of him to. He said he'd got two. He'd ordered two from. I think he said it was Game, and sorry, he'd ordered one from Game. They'd sent him two, and they didn't want the other one sent back, so he just brought it for me. So thank you very much, Ben.
Winner.
So yeah, and then I thought wasn't going to get anything in the end, but then the Moff man, you handed me a very nice. Now let me get this right. DX9 Vasily. I think I've said that right. Which is
a
Legends version of Double Dealer. And I very nice posable robot mode. Still my thing with Legends figures is they're so small. If they've got panels and stuff, it can be a little bit. I mean, it's so solidly put together.
Yeah.
Like there's certain parts where I think you have to use a sponge or something like that to get them open. But yeah, a really nice little figure. And he's been like I'd say my desk bot, but I don't have a desk at home. So he basically lives on the table that I have next to where I sit in the living room, and I just get to pick him up and mess around with him. But yeah, those were like the pickups.
Yeah, he excites me for. Oh yeah.
We should mention the t-shirts.
The new staff t-shirt, which will be available at August in a non-prime times version, so you can get it and wear it to celebrate the wonderful new Kaplan.
From the awesome Lucan, of course.
Yeah. So pre-orders will be available for that before the convention, and then there'll be limited stock at the convention as well. But that the Double Dealer makes me excited for their next bot, their next bots, the Power Master Prime. Like if they can have the same level engineering stuff, I think it'll be really nice to see. Like because I need more Power Master Primes, with which will bring me up nicely to my pickups. So I literally get two toys all weekend. I got given some things which was really nice, and then Kerry got something for me. But I did 2 trips through, and I thought I need to buy something for Toy Food because I never bought anything last year at Manchester. Manchester last year was such a stress fest that I was snowblind even when I looked. So I thought, no, I'm going to go. And I'd said to Andy, who's been on your show, kind of the things I was looking for. I said, so when I come round, just point me in the right direction. But I didn't even need to do that because I went into the other hall for a wander, met Jay Swags, and we're chatting away, and we're just chatting. He's like, "You've been bought anything?" I'm like, "Oh no, I've just literally just come away for the stall, and I will buy something." And I was like, "You bought anything?" He's like, "Yeah, but the rest of them are trying to get me to buy something." I was like, "Oh, what is it?" And he showed me, and I went, "Are you going to buy it?" And he said, "No." I said, "That's good, because I'm going to buy it." So I literally just walked up to Toy Fair and went, "Can I have that, please?" Not even knowing what party the Unicron trilogy it was in. It was a green Unicron. Why have I got a Unicron collection? I have no bloody idea. But I have the black version of this mould. I've got the kind of movie-esque version of this mould. I don't even have my original Armada one. I need to try and get an original one. But when I saw this and it was boxed and sealed, I don't even know if I'm going to open it. I don't know. I'll be if I open it, it'll be for a special day, so it's going to stay sealed just now. But I just thought I'm having that, and then I went through a bit later on, like quieting down, and I was saying about Power Master Bridge, and I got the Takara.
Very nice.
Was it called Power Master Prime in the Takara release, or was he called? He was called Jinrai, wasn't he?
Oh, well, I think he is Jinrai over there, but then is
Yeah.
that? It depends whether that's the Japanese Legends release one or whether it's the one that was in the box set.
Oh,
Was it?
It said Takara, but I've not looked at it any further.
Yeah.
Literally, I brought it in here on Sunday night, and then I've not looked at it since.
I don't know if there's much difference between the two, but they're
Yeah,
basically like the Battle on Cybertron, I think it was called something like
yeah,
that. Box set
yeah.
that is basically based off
The,
the
the one that wasn't in Home Bargains.
Yeah,
I went
unfortunately not.
and then the other wee bit I got was Kerry went to the Matt. Oh, what's his name?
Marshall?
Mark Marshall, yeah, his panel just so she could get me the kit to do a wind charger and a Thunderhawk. So I now need a wind charger. So at least it gives me something to look for at TFN. I actually said I went to Andy and said, "You got any of the a wind charger on your store?" And he's like, "Are you kidding? We've got Harley in this." And I was like, "Oh, okay, a bad thing, but a good thing." And then the only other bit I got was so I'd done a favour for James Robertson, got his books and taken them down for him. So I bought a book off him and then got him to sign it. So my intention is to read this before TFUKCon so that when I talk to him, I can know what I'm talking about from the book and promote it. So that was really good. So no, it was a really enjoyable experience for me because, and it's a huge compliment to you. I felt so relaxed because you just were like, you just took everything in your stride and were just really enjoying it and at ease, and I felt so comfortable. Same with Kerry. And it never, as much as that first hour was mad, it never really felt overwhelming at any point. I think,
Oh, yeah.
and I said this to Billy and the crew, I thought the hall setup worked really well. Like it never, and I've spoke to people in another hall, and they said the same. It never felt overwhelmed at any point, but it equally, other than that kind of last hourish, it never felt dead. There's always
Yeah.
felt there's somebody kind of walking along. There's always somebody buying something like every minute. Not every minute, but it wasn't as if you went like an hour without somebody buying something. It kept going. So no, it was really good. It'll be interesting to see what they learn from it. I think I expect us to be back there again next year. Hopefully there's more than one lift working, which will be
Yeah.
beneficial because getting up and down the lift and the runs, and I'm going to buy a bigger trolley because I borrowed Rohan's on the Monday morning and 3 trips would have been. If I'd had that, I'd have been 3 trips up to the room. So that's my lesson for the year. But overall, it was a good, successful day, successful business wise, successful and enjoyable, which is the main bit. And then the Saturday night was a great laugh. Like,
Yeah,
you all left, we went to a cocktail bar, and I just thought
Well,
I am not
yeah,
into that.
that was that was not necessarily in directly intentional because our lovely other halves had obviously while we were working, you quite rightly let Kerry have a break. She'd put in a shift and she went to see the lasses, and then they all decided they were taking themselves off to a cocktail bar while we were working. Not far away, only about 5 minutes walk away, but so obviously we finished. I will mention as well because I'm right in saying that we both thought it was like 4 o'clock. 4
Yes,
o'clock.
yeah.
Sure.
I checked my note. I checked the original traders packets. That was 4 o'clock meant to be,
Yeah.
but the website said 6, so that just became a real confusing bit because it was like,
So we were
Sit
there
down.
till basically kind of nearly 6 o'clock. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, we started tidying up everything because, like you say, by then, although there was that weird sudden rush of people
Yeah,
right at the very end.
it was when James Roberts came back and he
Ah,
brought a crowd with him, and I was like, oh no, have we started back up to it anyway?
But yeah,
Uh,
so they'd all gone off to the cocktail bar, and having finished, I'd seen Brandon Davis and Madness had been around with us all day, and this is where I apologise to Brandon. I have apologised to because he was waiting in the bar area. I'd gone just to get changed, and then I'd got these messages saying, right, we're going to the cocktail bar. So I'd come back down, and all the lads were waiting for me in the doorway to go to this cocktail bar, and it was only literally when I got there that I suddenly thought. So I got a message from Brandon saying, when he comes upstairs, I need to say goodbye before I head off. Anyway, I ended up running back through the rain like something from
Like,
Hollywood.
I was thinking.
running back through the rain in Manchester. Got back. Unfortunately, he'd already left, but I did message him again. I have messaged him since, and he's fine. But yeah, I had to run back. But I also coincidentally had to grab my wife's phone charger, run back again through the rain, back to the cocktail bar. This time dragging along Rohan and Steve with me. And then we stayed there for like one drink, I think, maybe two drinks, and then we just headed back to the hotel, go back to get something to eat, and spent the night there. And the night was just really good fun. I'm glad that I wasn't drinking all afternoon like the rest of them were.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
Well, the rest of them drinking, Paul didn't look like he'd had a drink all day.
You know what?
I think he's a drink this year.
You know how many times we've said about Paul that, you know, you get to the end of a night when everybody else is literally slurring the words and just, oh my God, we're feeling drunk. And he's just like he's fresh as a daisy. This was not one of those nights.
No.
Yeah,
I think
everybody
he's
enjoyed themselves though.
He's been off it for so long. I think it has.
Exactly. He has an excuse.
Such a good laugh. So nice. I ended up staying up to like I think it was 1:30. I spent some time talking to Andy Turnbull for TFN, talking to Chris McFeely, talking to Sam Welton, the man who's going to make me a very happy chappy by bringing out a new Fortress Maximus from MMC, which is bizarre to talk to somebody who you're like desperate to see a toy of, and they're like, yeah, I'd signed it. Yeah, I'd signed it. So that was really cool fun. And then I spent loads of time with Sam. I probably spent more. The last two Minicons, I've spent more time with Sam than I've ever really done, which has been really nice. Sam Formers, and had a really good blather with him. So no, I had an absolutely fantastic time in the social aspect of it. And then like up in the morning, I always like the getting up in the morning. You see people in the. That was tough. So I was up quite sharp and I nudged Sam, and me and Sam went downstairs, and there's a couple of people just looked worse for wear.
There was a few, yeah. There was a few who looked a little bit rough. Special shout out to Pete for Friday night, because good old Pete from Transformers the show, he enjoyed himself on the Friday night. But yeah, that whole Saturday night was just. It just felt very chilled, and I got to talk not only to our friends in our friendship group, which is always good fun, and spend time with people like Lee from Lee from Toy Meet for you.
I think Paul broke him a little bit, I'll be honest.
Yeah, they were doing shots together. That's probably not a good idea. I mean, I'm saying probably. We know it's not a good idea. I've been there, so there were so many people that you had a chance to just have a chat with and catch up with. And like you say, you had people like Jack Lawrence and James Roberts, and there was, you know, everybody's just chilling out in the bar, and it felt like a really good kind of relatively relaxed mood. If I have one criticism of that area, it would simply be that, you know, I think the bar staff struggle a little bit with the demand put on them. I don't think they were used to that kind of volume of this. The garden area was lovely, I hear. During the afternoon when the sun was out, but then of course it's Manchester, so the rain started pouring down, and that was then.
And it proper poured.
It really did, yeah.
I think that's always it's always an interesting bit when it's like the staff weren't aware, and I'm like, how do they not? Like when we quickly talk about TFUKCon, when we moved to Tales last year, we literally said to the bar staff, phone over the manager for over the road. Like, I promise, we tell you might sell out your drink, They couldn't believe us. They then phoned over and were like, okay, we'll get more drink in, and then we're pretty prepared. So I think there's hopefully you would like to think these people learn, but I remember talking to Billy about the big TFN, and quite often it's like a new person running it every year, so actually we don't get a chance to learn from it because these people float, especially in chains, they float around to different locations and stuff, so it's a bit more challenging. But I think it'll be interesting to see. As I say, I think the intention is for it to be back next year at the same venue, which will be good. Be nice to do a Minicon in the same venue. I've done four Minicons in 4 different venues, and that aspect of just the uncertainty of what are the lifts like, what's the storage space like, what's the rooms like. You know, we'd booked a bigger room, so thankfully the storage space was okay. If we'd been in one of the small rooms, I don't actually know what they've done. I like stressed proper. I think there's all those kind of uncertainties when you don't know the venue and you don't know the space, but hopefully they also then get to know us and go, well, actually we need to be prepared for this.
Yeah.
So
My only frustration with the venue, really, apart from that issue with the bar stuff clearly not really realizing how much the volume of
Mm.
stuff was, the parking. Now there's plenty of parking around, but it was only on the Sunday when we were walking back to our car, we went a different route round the back of the hotel, that you realised they had their own car park, which was obviously fenced off. I don't know, there was some building work going on with the land, but they had a whole car park there behind the
Oh,
hotel. Which obviously would have imagine that if we could have just parked around the back of the hotel.
yeah. Well, it's
Instead
interesting because actually, that in the initial reading about the hotel, it talked about there being a limited the
yeah,
disabled space and stuff,
yeah,
and I was like, all right, okay, we'll be able to park in it. We'll park the like in that kind of. It talked about a loading area, but there wasn't a loading area. It was
no,
just on street parking, so that makes sense. And I didn't realise that. So
yeah,
hopefully that'll be fixed for next year. But I agree that was the only real downside. Like, I was getting the stuff in and out of the van and getting people in and out of the cars. The big car park itself was decent. Like, it was a huge big
yeah,
car
yeah,
park. Like, I had a big van, so I parked way up in level 6 away from everybody. Just
yeah.
hired a van. The last thing I want somebody bumping into it and then I have to pay blooming excess. So, but no, I think the venue was good. TFN have just nailed how to do a small event. They really have kind of the having three different halls. It could have easily felt really disjointed, but from everything I've heard from people who went to panel rooms and stuff, it didn't feel like that. They had loads of signage, loads of crew members making sure that people knew where they were going. The bar in the middle of them, quite between the two trailer halls, kind of works well as well. So like a kind of social bit of it. So no, I think there'll be lessons they'll learn that they'll apply to the big event. Because last year's was the most successful by far they've had, and it bodes the question of how do they grow? And nobody wants to go into the NEC. They don't like. Where we are at is the biggest place we're going to go. They're not going to go to London because the price would be ridiculous. So where we're at is where we have to be. So the only other option surely is to look at, adding a different hall on without the Motion City there. That kind of becomes maybe, is that an option? And I know Auto Assembly did used smaller halls at points as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think this was a success from them. I think all I've heard from people was a really good experience. So, and I know I gave positive feedback from our side of it, what it felt like. So, no, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. And I wrote a post. What day was it, on Wednesday? I posted on Monday, just thinking, going, we have 4 Transformers conventions a year. For a country as small as the UK, that's pretty impressive and pretty awesome. That, you know, for me, that's great for a business point of view. Of course it is. But it also gets me a chance to see my friends so much more.
Yeah.
Not that that was enough. We also had to have a weekend away last month as well.
Yeah.
And I know Claire was chatting to Kerry about another option as well going forward. But it's lovely. That's the favorite bit of the conventions now for me is the social aspect of seeing people and having that kind of interaction with people. So that was really
Yeah,
good.
I agree.
And thank you again for stepping up and being a part of the PrimeTime team and helping out. It's very much appreciated.
As I've said to you before, there's no thanks needed. It's good fun, and yeah, I really enjoyed the whole day. It's tiring, but it's good fun, and
Yeah, that's
I don't know if it adds to it a little bit that when you do get that time off in the evening, you properly get to
yeah.
relax, and
Yeah,
you've earned that cold drink.
I think so. I always feel that way, especially at the big TFN. I find that just Sunday night just feels so relaxing because you're just everything's off, no pressure's off, and like, it's really good. But it does change your kind of mindset through the day. Like, I remember at points when I used to go, and also I wasn't really kind of hanging about with yous at the time, but I would go and I'd get to points where I'm like, I'm a bit done. Like, I need a bit of break. I'd go up to my room and go and sit and chill for an hour just to kind of break it up. I don't feel I'm done. I'm like, get a shower, get downstairs, get a beer. I still went up and I was like, I don't drink much, but can I have 3 drinks? 3 drinks, just because I was like, I don't want to get back up. I want to just sit and have a drink and not have to worry about it. But no, it was good. It was a very good, very impressive. We're now only a matter of weeks away to TFUKCon, I think. We're
Yeah,
8 weeks, 7 weeks, so I don't even know. I've got too many things to think about planning and organising for that. So there's lots of things to come for TFUKCon, lots of exciting stuff for that to be revealed. Plenty of time to talk about that. For now, I think it's closing thoughts on TFN Mini. For me, it was a joy. I do get a bit of pleasure in growing up or giving opportunities to people to get involved and get to kind of get a taste of it. I think Sam got a bit of a taste of it the weekend. Want to give him some more opportunities. He's going to help out the stall a wee bit at TFUKCon. Continually building relationships with Rohan, and looking and kind of working on that. Like I jokingly call it my kind of wee primetime family of like kind of wee businesses and how can I help people out. I just love seeing other people getting to have opportunities, so it's good fun. Building relationships with blockies, and for me, the big one is building relationships with TFN and the guys there. Like to think that 2 years ago was the first time the business ever traded at a convention, and now we're headlining one of their halls. We've sponsored one of the guests. Like I feel very very privileged to have that relationship with Billy, Dave, Andy Turnbull, all the team. It's lovely to be around them and be involved in it. And it's like you said, like kind of working at it's different, but see when you feel as if you're adding something for other people's enjoyment. That there really is that when you see something. I know that you've got that double deal now because you didn't have it in August because you had the opportunity to take the one that I'd given you to take it away or sell it through PrimeTime to somebody who's really wanting one, and there's a level of joy you can't really express to somebody else until you've experienced it. To see somebody getting that toy they really wanted or really after. There's a fella on Facebook, my favourite sale of the whole weekend was a fella on Facebook desperate for a Magmatron. And I had one on the shelf that I hadn't even listed. I hadn't done anything with it yet. Like it just back to I've got too much stock and I forget what I've got and I just try to remember. And he mentioned it and I had only just spotted it. I thought I'm going to bring that, and I brought it. I didn't list it, didn't put it up anywhere. Just put it in my box, put it aside, and he came up and asked, and his wee eyes lit up. He was just so chuffed. It was just lovely to do. So there is a real joy in having that experience, and being involved with TFN is just an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to help people, I think that's part of the reason why it's so fun. Just like you said, seeing people smiling, people happy, and knowing that even if all it was just selling them the toy, you've still contributed to that. And there's that banter with them as well, and you often see them in the bar afterwards at the end of the day, and they'll have a little chat with you about or tell you about how much they love it or whatever, and it's great. I think that's a great part of it. So thank you for once again allowing me to be involved and be part of it again. It was the whole day was a really good, fun experience again, and the evenings were obviously great fun. Just getting to spend time with you and the guys and everybody else that was there. It was really, really good, and I look forward to the next one, which of course for us is going to be TFUKCon before the big TFN in August.
I can't wait. Well, listen, thank you very much again for your time. You're obviously not paid for working behind the stall. You don't work that hard, so I appreciate it. Also giving you free time up to do this.
Yeah.
It's not a paid promotion. I give you. Thank you so much again, and I can't wait to see you. It's funny. I genuinely can't wait to see you all again in May. Like, actually, I said to Pete, because I've seen Pete every month this year, and I said to Pete as he was leaving. No, he said to me, he says, "I'll see you in May," and I says, "There is an NEC toy fair next month if you fancy a meet up." There will come a month where I can't see him. But
oh dear, I remember him telling you to move down here, move down close.
Oh, I've seen those places. You're all right.
Totally.
I'm Scottish. I'm too cheap for that.
I'm Northern English. I'm still too cheap.
Well, listen, thank you so much again, and it's nice to have you come onto my channel for a wee change, and it's quite often I'm onto your channel these days. So, no, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again at TFUKCon. Bye for now.